Hey, welcome into the round pen, day 6 with this paint horse Tanner. And this is an incredibly gorgeous, beautiful spring day here in Oklahoma. And this is my little theory about Oklahoma weather. These gorgeous spring days, we get these, it's just like, get about 4 of them a year. The other 361 days, you should probably live in Florida. But today's the day to be here. just my thoughts on it. Okay, so this is the 3rd day that I've saddled him, and he's handling it pretty well. The reason I waited to do this on camera is because I don't know if he has a little bit of issue with this right here. And basically the only problem I found with this horse so far is he's just a little bit head shy. And it's not terrible, it's not anything we can't work through, but he does not like things around his head too much. So this just gives me an opportunity to kind of work on that for a minute. There we go. Everything's approach and retreat. Don't let him think it's permanent. That's getting better. Okay, there we go. So you can see that bothered him there coming from the front. He's okay from the back. If your horse has a problem, it's up to you to fix it. He's not going to fix it himself. There we go. Let him figure out he's all right. Good. Good. His head's dropping about an inch every time I take it away. The easiest indicator of a horse's emotional level is their head level. There, see it dropping? Okay, so that's good enough for that for today. Okay, let's get the saddle here. He should handle this fine. Did you hear him take a deep breath there, kind of relax a little? And I alternate when I saddle these colts. One day I'll saddle them from the right, the other day from the left, and so forth. Just to get them used to everything from both sides. And he's pretty good about that. Okay. So here are my goals for today's session. And we may or may not get that done. But my goals are, I want to ground drive him with a bridle, with the snaffle bit, for the first time. I have ground driven him twice with the halter. So today will be his 3rd ground driving session, but the first one with a bit. And then my second goal is to stand in the stirrups and most likely sit on him. I'm not planning on riding him. Everything's fluid, but that's my general plan, is to just sit on his back. I have sat on him bareback, as you've seen in previous videos, and he was fine. So usually, if your weight doesn't bother him, it's not going to be an issue. I've got that back cinch pretty snug. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, back up, buddy. Okay, see how he kind of locked up there? That's what happens with a lot of horses, especially young horses. When you saddle them up, they kind of hold their breath and they go in a little bit of a freeze mode. So you gotta get them, let that tension out. So I'm just gonna lunge him around here for a couple of minutes and let him kind of work off some tension, and before I move on to the next thing, which is putting the snaffle bit in his mouth. Okay. What I'd like to see him do here, he probably won't. I'd like to see him lick and chew while he's going around me. This horse doesn't hold a lot of tension, unlike some other horses we've had here, okay? And that was a joke to my owners here on the other side of the fence, because this is the same family that brought me that horse Jacob last fall. If you watched that older Greenbroke horse, had a lot of fear and a lot of tension. Totally different horse. So this one doesn't hold a lot of tension. There he licked and chewed, but he didn't do it while he was moving. And I never interrupt them till they're done licking and chewing. Okay. All right, so first 2 or 3 days I just put a snaffle bit in his mouth, just a bit with a head stall. Today I'm going to use an actual with reins. So this bit's going to have a little different feel. And his issue, he doesn't have a problem with the bit. So this is like the third or fourth day I've worked on this. He's head shy. He didn't care about the bit. He just doesn't want anything around his head. Okay. So that's actually not much better than it was yesterday, fortunately. There, see his head coming down? So see, it's not about the bit. It's whenever this gets up around his ears. And the funny thing is, he's not touchy about his ears. Usually horses that are like this, they don't want you to touch their ears. He doesn't care if you touch his ears. He just doesn't want things around his head. So like I say, it's not real bad, but it does need to be addressed because we want to get him over it. Let him find out that it's not a big deal. I worked him from horseback yesterday, from above, and we'll probably do it again today. And I don't know, it didn't seem to bother him with me being up above or waving my cowboy hat above his head. Didn't seem to bother him. I'm just going to keep doing this until he relaxes a bit. Don't rush it. See, his head went up about a foot when I reached up there. And he doesn't overreact too badly. So some of this he'll just get over himself over time, but okay. So that right there, see, he pulled his head up about 2 feet. So I'm going to wait till he gets it back down before I try to put the spit in his mouth. I'm squeezing pretty hard to get his head down. Good boy. Okay, nope, we don't do that. That's not how we roll, okay? How long is this going to take? I don't know. It's up to him. Takes as long as it takes. There. See if I can put my finger in his mouth without him sucking his head up. He's so tense he didn't want to open his mouth. Okay. There we go. Now we're going to get it in without him jerking his head up to the sky. There we go.